that the Rule 20A account will pay up to that amount, and anything over that, the property owner would be responsible for. So, I guess to answer Mr. A's question, until, if this project were phased, and I can't answer that, I don't know if it'll be phased or not, I just don't know, then you wouldn't be responsible to underground your service till that phase of the project is done.
Any other members of the public questions? Mr. Sayon, I believe.
I've been on the walkthroughs with you, Howard, and the rest, and I heard the PG&E and telephone people say pretty explicitly that they couldn't really count on a streetscape plan, that the transformers that were going to have to be placed, the option of putting them on Caltrans property was out, that they had absolutely decided that they will go on each person's private property as we go up the street, which again, most people don't realize they're going to have to give up about a 300 square foot piece of property in order to fit the transformers on. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is I'm hearing kind of things coming out of both sides of their mouths. On the one side hand, they're saying we're going to ignore the streetscape and push all of the aperture materials onto private property, and we're going to stay in the middle of the right-of-way. We know where the middle of the right-of-way is, or close to it. There's not going to be any streets or sidewalks, and then on the other hand, they're saying they want streetscapes planning. So I also wanted to compliment you. I personally have observed your efforts in this whole thing and realize how frustrated you must be.
Yeah, Mr. Say, I would say that there's nothing that's come from the utility companies that's been concise, so it's easy to know which way they're going. I think when they talk about putting all of their facilities pushed off onto the property, what they're indicating there is we'll be out of franchise, therefore we wouldn't be subject to future changes, because the beauty of the public utilities have a right to be in county and state rights of way under their franchise agreements. But the interesting thing about that is the way the law is set up, if the county or state need that facility moved, the utility has to move it at their expense. The utility companies don't want to move it at their expense more than once, and I understand that. They're trying to conserve their own resources. But I think what Marshall's talking about, if they got completely out of the state right-of-way, they wouldn't be subject to that hammer that the state would have on them. But at the same time, the CPUC has said under 851 they can be enfranchised. So whether they like it or not, we could say, no, we want you out in the state right-of-way. Then they want some assurances from us that what they build won't conflict with the streetscape we're designing. I find it interesting that Keith can't move forward with the streetscape, and yet the utility companies say they don't want to move forward with their design until they see the streetscape. I believe that's what you call a catch-22. I mean, someone's got to start working together, and I have high hopes that our CEO can do that here in the near future.
Howard, I've heard two figures, 3 million, 6 million. Now, what phase are you talking about?
The original half mile, the estimate the utility companies had come up with for their work was 1.5 million.
And where was that from?
That was from right down here. I'll point to it. I always thought it went to that lot that just butted up against Old Stage, but John said no. I guess Center Street up to Sedalia. That was pretty much the original project.
Is that by Mesa Grove? That's the center of town.
No, just south of us here.
Sedalia.
Sedalia to really the beginning of town here. Then we added the half mile out to your business, basically. A little past Pacific Woods. Hubert Street. And the projection then was what was about 1.5 million for a half a mile. That was almost a full mile. It would be about 3 million. The county continues to accumulate an account of 851 funds to use anywhere in the county that's grown to around 6 million. The project hasn't grown to that. That's what the county, so we're not doing underground projects, you see, so the money is just sitting there.
Okay, let me correct something here. For the speakers, I need you to step forward so that the recorders can pick up your questions, so that the respondent can also be recorded. So Whoever would like to speak next, please step up and please.
Matt, you're connecting the wall. You're saying for the underground projects, we're going to be, that's what I want to clarify, is what we're property owners are going to pay. You're saying we're going to be given how much for the underground for the plan?
$1,500.
$1,500.
I know, the commercial installations will be more than that, and there'll probably be a balance.
Fine. All right, and that's what I'm figuring. I just want to see what we're going to cut the remaining chunk of the bill then.
That figure was arrived at in that will generally cover a residential.
So for
Commercial, there'll be a difference. You bet.
that would have been good back about 30 years ago.
Well, 30 years ago it was nothing.
Okay, next speaker, please step up to the podium. State your name for the record.
Marshall said, well, one of the things I'd like to point out is when we began talking about extending the underground, and Howard was at the meeting and I believe, there was quite a few people there when we decided to do the extension. And I'd like to point at Keith right now, because one of the issues that has come up both with the undergrounding and with the town plan, or the town's action plan,